Okay. All right, so I'm 34 years old, right? I've been through just about every state on the East Coast trying to find my identity. How many of y'all know what that means? Okay, so basically I'm trying to find out who I am. I have 4 children. My youngest is 1 and 4 months. My oldest is 14. When I transitioned out of New York to Maryland, I had my oldest and my youngest son at the time. I lived in my car. I had no idea what God had for me. All I know is I heard him say go, I went. Out of obedience, I went. I didn't know that he was gonna have me in Maryland for 5 years. I was gonna meet the people that I met, but obedience, being obedient, he blessed me in that. Because how many of you know that obedience is better than sacrifice? I was comfortable where I was in New York. I was hustling, I was doing my thing. I played church. If I know what that means. That means I was going to church and singing, doing praise and worship, I was doing my thing outside. I played church for a long time until God actually called me and he actually told me the direction. So I was obedient, I went to Maryland, right? So when I was in Maryland, everything was good. I landed a good job. Got my kids, got my own place. Then I got sick. I mean, I was dancing all the time. I was going everywhere. One day I woke up, went to work, and I had a sharp pain in front of my leg. So I went to the doctor and they told me that I had lymphoma. How many of you know what lymphoma is? Lymphoma is a cancer that is basically a growth on your lymph nodes. And it's hard to operate because it's attached to your artery. Mine was in my leg. I went to chemo, and I went to chemo on Wednesdays. I worked Wednesday, I went to chemo, was out Thursday, Friday, went back to work Saturday. I didn't tell my job because I didn't want to lose my job on only means of stability. And I didn't have support, but I was still being obedient, going and going and going and doing what I was supposed to do, right? Then one day I told my mom, my biological mom, this is what it is. You know, I sent my daughter back to New York, I kept my son. Because I didn't know if I was gonna make it or not, honestly. I started getting sicker, I started getting smaller, I started losing weight. I was really, really sick. I thought it was it. So I started debating God. Like, okay, you sent me here to die. Like, this is not what you had for me. So as time went on, I went to my aunt's house and I was laying on the couch and I woke up to her praying for me. And when she was praying for me, she basically was speaking healing over me. At that time, I didn't know what that meant. She was speaking to my spiritual man, not my physical man. Because my physical man didn't receive it. I already gave up. My flesh gave up already. Right. But my spiritual man kept fighting. And that next week, I went back. They told me I didn't need chemo anymore. They said the growth was so small that it was no need. So then I started letting everybody know. I let everybody on Facebook know, okay, I made it. This is what I went through. There was one person that said something that was very significant. Through all of that sacrifice, from leaving and being obedient and listening to what God told me is the reason why I was healed. There's people that came and gone in the process. It happens. Life happens. But it never stopped me from pursuing what God had me to pursue. And fast forwarding to retrospect right now, even through all of that, left jobs, left careers, failed relationships, good relationships. All of my kids are in New York right now, which is good. And one of them is in Ghana. But all of that, I never lost the relationship and the connection with my children. Reason being because they are my lifeline and my flesh. But God is my lifeline and my spiritual man. So whatever happens, don't forget where your power comes from. Your power don't come from people. Your power don't come from any individuals, your parents, your brothers, your sisters. Your connection with God is what gives you your power. It gives you your stability. It gives you your courage. Because with God, whatever happens, your job fails, your relationship fails, anything can fail. But as long as you stay in the will of God, He's going to restore what you lost. You feel me? All right?